Well, good morning. This is what you're left with. No, I'm just playing. Last week was a shock to a lot of people. It was a shock to me. I only knew about a week before you did, maybe less. This is what I did. So, okay, first after I got over the initial shock, I went into panic mode. Because it hit me. I've done this before, but I usually have about a month notice that, hey, Todd's going to be out, and hey, will you fill in, will you do this, whatever. And so I usually have, a few weeks notice, and then I prepare and do everything, put something together. I'm going to move this real quick. It's going to bother me to death. I'm not going to be able to focus. Anyway, and I give a message, and then I have like a month or 2 months or however long to just relax and breathe. And like, okay, I did that, and it's over. I don't have to worry about it. My mind can rest for a little while. But I want you to understand something. You guys are scary. You're terrifying. You're terrifying. But I've done it a few times, and it doesn't get any easier, just so you know. So we'll see how this goes. Now, I operate in sarcasm a lot, and I operate in making jokes when I feel uncomfortable. So if I start making a lot of jokes, you know what's going on. No. So after I got over the shock of everything, and then I went into panic mode, and I went and I bought me a backpack, I got me a new Bible, and I got me a bunch of highlighters and some pens, and I got everything, and I thought, okay, now what? Now what? And I feel like God has been preparing me over the past few years for this, but I didn't see it coming. Like, once everything started taking place, things started making sense. And like, have you ever been in a position where like maybe God started speaking something to you or saying something, and it didn't, you didn't really know what it meant or whatever, and then like later on you're like, oh, I get it. Okay. That's kind of how I felt, but at the same time, like I realized, like, I've got to start figuring out what I'm going to do every weekend now, not just every once in a while. So anyway, so I go get all this stuff, and I'm reading, and I'm scared to death, but I'm excited at the same time. And I had this whole message prepared, and then I felt like, you know what? Like, I don't think I'm supposed to give a message today, and I just wanted to tell my story. I felt like God just told me, like, okay, these people need to know who you are, because, okay, I know like maybe 5 people here, like maybe. I know of a lot of people, but I don't know you, and I don't think you know me, and that's what I want to do. I want to tell my story and give you an idea of where I come from, my past and my history, and because where we go from here starting next week is going to have everything to do with where I've come from. And I think that's the only way we know how to live. We take our past and it becomes who we are and where we go and what we do with it. So that's what I want to do. I just want to kind of give you an idea of who I am, and hopefully I get to know a lot of you a lot more as we go. So anyway, my name is Brian Taylor, and I grew up in Grand Saline. I'm 36 years old. I graduated in 99. That's all you need to know. No. I had great parents growing up. We had a very tight family. My parents, I want to say they were hard on me and my brother. They were hard on me. My brother got away with everything. So I learned a lot, and then, I'm sorry. They were good parents, and they loved us, and they cared for us, and they taught us right from wrong, and they taught us honor and respect, and that has a lot to do with the way I go about my business as an adult. Anyway, I grew up a good kid. I didn't get into trouble. I did cheat on my schoolwork every once in a while, but other than that, I stayed out of trouble, and I didn't do a whole lot wrong. And then, for one, I was scared of my dad. I knew if my dad found out that I was drinking when all my friends were drinking, or out at the pasture parties, or We used to hang out at what they. Is anybody in here familiar with Grand Saline? Okay, a few people. Okay. We hung out in what they call the Bear Grounds, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, we hung out down there. We basically did what kids do, and we basically avoided the cops. Anyway, but I knew that if my dad found out, and this is another thing, and like Grand Saline's a small town, so like if you did anything, it got home before you did, and so. I just knew better. I knew my dad would beat me. Now, Anyway, some of you don't know, but some of you know. I knew that I just knew better. I didn't do anything. So I stayed out of trouble. Well, when I graduated, I moved to Dallas. I got a job at Dr. Pepper at 19, and I started driving a truck for them and working. And my life at that point began. I grew up in the church. I went to church, in Baptist church. I have a Baptist background. And went to church as a kid and everything. And I started working with the youth at one church. And I want to say I have a church background, but I do, but I don't. Because when I went to church, I did a lot of things and I followed along, but there was a lot of things about me that I didn't agree with, and I didn't agree with how things were done, and I don't want to say it like it was a rebellious thing, like it was how to say it, like I just felt like there was more to it. I always felt like there was more that could happen or more to it. Anyway, and I was always a part of churches. Like I got to see the background stuff, what stuff that happened in the background. And unfortunately, I had a lot of bad experiences in the church. I had some churches where my friends weren't allowed to attend because of their past and stuff like that. And there was a lot of politics and people who didn't like certain people, and so they weren't welcome. And that didn't set well with me. And as I was like 20 years old, 21, I was like, you know what? I'm done with church. And I walked away one day and I said, I'll never go back. First lesson, never say never. I said I'd never go back. I'm done. I don't need church. I don't need the religion. I don't need the hymns. I don't need I don't need all that. I'm all right. I'm a good kid. I didn't do anything. And so I got away from church, and I got away from God. And so my life began at basically 21. I started drinking. At that point, I was on my own. I didn't have to worry about parents or anything, and I hid a lot of stuff. I started getting into trouble. I was a concert junkie, like, if that's a thing. My friends' parents dropped, my first concert was Smashing Pumpkins and Garbage. Yeah. And my friend's parents dropped me and him off at Reunion Arena when we were like 14. Can you imagine dropping your 14-year-old off? But we had tickets, and of course they didn't want to go, and so we went, and that was a big deal to me. Like I experienced music. In high school, I quit sports to learn how to play guitar. I liked sports, but I wasn't a big sports person. I mean, I loved football, but I didn't care about playing. I think what changed my mind was this guy. His name was Dale Britton, and there's some people that know him. And I used to like that guy a lot until I had to line up against him at football practice. And he hit me so hard, he broke my face mask straight off my helmet. And I realized that I was too small, and I just didn't care about it that much. And I wanted to do other things. So I started. I saved my own money, bought my guitar. And I started, that was when MTV still played music videos and stuff. And so I would watch all these things, and I would learn how to play guitar, and I taught myself how to play. And then me and my buddies decided we were going to play in a band. We wanted to start a band. And so we all quit, I think, football on the same day. And so my coach was like, he was what are you talking about? And anyway, he tried to talk us into it, like, no, we're done. So we started playing music, and that became a huge part of my life. And then we went to the concert, and we started going to every concert. First one was Smashing Pumpkins and Garbage. I think we went to Metallica, and then I went to Pearl Jam. And Pearl Jam became it for me. Like that, I was like, oh, this is what it is right here. And so I became Pearl Jam nut. I loved Pearl Jam. And anyway, that is the core of who I was. I was all about music. I didn't care about anything else that happened except for music. So I kept bands going. I would jump from band to band, and with that, when you start playing in bars and whatnot, well, I was living in the bars basically. Every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it didn't matter. I mean, we were always there, and we were always drinking, and my life began to take this path that got very far away from what I was used to growing up. Alcohol was a big part of it. I was always drinking. Even I have a CDL, and drinking alcohol, we drug test all the time at work. And so I had to make sure that I was careful during the week, but on the weekend it was just bust loose and go for it. And anyway, so I started drinking. Alcohol took a huge grip over my life, and was drinking all the time, and I started flirting with different drug addictions, and it just comes along with the scene. I loved the party. I loved being in the atmosphere in that environment, and so my life took this turn to where I didn't even care. I got to where I didn't care if I went to work or not. I just wanted to hang out and party. That's all. I just assumed that my life was going to be music forever, and it went pretty good there for a little while until it all kind of crashed down. But and you know how that goes sometimes. But anyway, I had a motorcycle. I was on a little red motorcycle, and that's all I had for a couple of years. And I would go around Dallas riding on this bike, and then I had to figure out a way to carry my amp and stuff around. So I got rid of that. And but anyway, what I'm telling you is, I wasn't born into this, ministry background, and, I didn't come from, this whole pastor lifestyle. I never imagined myself being a pastor. I always felt this call to, serve God, but I didn't, grow up in this environment to be a pastor. I'm divorced. I was an alcoholic. I flirted with different drug addictions all the time. So I've kind of been there. I'm only 36, but I feel like I've experienced a lot. I've had jobs that took me places, and I've just experienced a lot. And but the past few years, when I kind of skipped some parts, but anyway, the past few years have been the most difficult time in my life. Those of you who know, me and my ex-wife, we went to church here for, I guess, 8 years. Kinsley was 1 when we started going here. And I had said that I would never come back to church. And she started coming here, and she kept telling me, oh, you need to come check this out. You'd like it. It's not what you think. It's not like your typical church stuff. And I was I just didn't believe her, I guess. I don't know. I told her, I said I'd never go back. I'm not interested. I don't want to go back. And anyway, it kept happening. And one day, I remember specifically, I was sitting on the floor in my living room, and she came back and she said, you really need to go. I know you would like this place. It's just different. I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. And I remember looking her straight in the eye and said, I will never go back to church. Drop it. That's it. And anyway, she wore me down. And women have that tendency to... No, I'm just playing. And so I came back. I came in, and I think I was standing somewhere back here somewhere. And that day, something changed. Something happened. I guess that was about 8 years ago. And my life I fought it for a while, but it began to change. Like God started speaking to me and things started happening. I was drinking a lot and I started getting sick every day. Like I thought something was wrong with me. It got to where like I could have like a couple of beers or something and I was sick. I was like hung over sick. Like that next day, like, were you hurt sick? And I was thinking, what is going on? I'm not drinking that much. And come to find out, my ex and some of her family had been praying that my body would start rejecting the alcohol. And that was a big deal. Like when I realized, of course they didn't tell me that. I didn't know that. But when I put it together that when I was drinking that it was making me sick, like even like one or two beers, like I'd come home and I'd start drinking and like there was a couple of times it got to where I would have a couple of beers and I couldn't go to work the next day because I was so sick. And anyway, I was like, I'm tired of being sick. I guess I'll stop drinking this stuff. And anyway, so I quit drinking and I got rid of it. Anyway, we came here and my life changed. Something happened that day that I can't really explain. I don't know how to explain what took place, but I know that my life changed. And God started talking to me. And I fought it for a while. I fought it hard. And anyway, I had this day where I was alone at home and God like laid me out. And that was it. From that day on, my life was different. And some people experience it that way, some people don't. There's no wrong way to experience God, but me, it just took a little bit more, I think, at the time it was like a punch in the face, basically, like, hey, you're going to kill yourself if you don't listen. And anyway, so one day we started coming to church here, and one day I was at work, and I got this text message or something, and it was Celia. She was saying that they needed a bass player and asked if I wanted to play. And at the time, I was thinking, like, I don't know that I've ever actually played sober before, much less play in a, worship band. And so, like, I was like, yeah. But I didn't know what to do. Anyway, it took me a little while to, like, fit in or like, feel like I was doing something or whatever. But because I wasn't sure. I was very standoffish with church people. Like, I didn't want to be involved or associated with church people. And but I realized real quick when I started coming here, like, we're not church people. Like, has anybody else picked up on that? Like, have we ever played a hymn in here? Have we ever done hymns? Okay. I don't remember doing any hymns here, and I don't know that I even know any hymns, to be honest, because I usually checked out pretty fast on the hymn part at the old church. But like when I came here the first time, I realized, like, it was like God told me, see, I told you so. Like, there's more to coming to church. There's more to church than what church looks like. And hey, if that's the way they want to do it, that's great. If that's the way you experience God, that's great. But see, I want a place that my friends can come because it doesn't matter what kind of past they can't come in with. Amen. It doesn't matter what kind of past. Like, if I was told that I couldn't come in because of my past, well, I'd probably be dead already. Because I fought with depression to begin with. And then when you start adding depression and alcohol and drug addictions and everything with it, well, it doesn't work well. It just doesn't. And it kills you. So when I started getting a grasp or realizing what this place was about, like, I was on board. And I made sure that I was doing everything I could do to follow what God wanted to do. And so the past couple of years, like, I feel like God started showing me some things. And even though I went through divorce, like, and I don't know, I still haven't figured out my divorce. God blessed me with this beautiful wife, and somehow I ended up screwing that up. So, but anyway, that's, I tell you that because I want you to know, like, I'm no different than you. I just pursue God. And I do what God wants. And I seek God out. And it's crazy to me. I haven't wrapped my mind around it yet that God chose me. But God chose Peter and Matthew and John also. And Peter was a loser too. I don't know. It sounded good. But it's an honor. It's exciting. And so next week we're going to get a little bit more involved in vision, because I feel like God's placed this vision in me. And I want you to know, like, we're going somewhere with this. Like, it's not over. Like, we're going somewhere. And I'm excited. I'm scared to death, but I'm excited. And I think, like, if I wasn't a little bit scared, then maybe you should be, you know? But I'm terrified. I'll be honest. Last week was an exhausting week because I felt like I fought myself with fear all week long. But at the same time, I was extremely excited. Every time I started thinking about things and God would start downloading some ideas and different things into my head, like, I would get excited. Like, I think I slept about 2 to 3 hours each night last week, so I was exhausted come Friday. It was a long week at work anyway. That's how it was, and you know how it goes sometimes. But anyway, I'm super excited. I'm excited to have Justice on board. I'm excited. You guys, there's a lot of you guys that have reached out to me on Facebook and sent me messages or texts or whatever in support, and that means a ton to me, because that's what this place is about. We're to have each other's backs. We're here to go together, to grow together, and to root together. Like, I'm not about growing tall. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about how big or how tall or whatever. I'm worried about our root system. Like, that's what I want to, that's my focus, that's my vision, that's my idea that what God's doing here. It's about growing deep, not growing tall, but about growing deep. And that's what I want to do together. I want to come together in unity and grow together. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start doing. There's a lot of things. It may look different. It doesn't mean anything. We may do some things different. It's okay. Here's the deal. This place was never Todd's church. This was our church. And this was our God's church. And it's still our God's church. That part doesn't change. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come together and we're going to act like a team, and we're going to act like a family, and we're going to love each other, and we're going to make each other matter, and then we're going to make this place different, and then we're going to make out there different. That's the only way I know how to do it. We're going to reach people and make people matter. That's the whole point of this place, is to make you matter, make people matter. That's it. You don't sound very excited. I've got people that live across the street from me that, like, I know they're hurting. I don't want them to hurt. I've got friends that hurt, and I don't want them to hurt. I've got family that hurt, and I don't want them to hurt. Does anybody else have people they know that's hurting? Maybe you're hurting. Sometimes I hurt, and I need people around me to, like, have my back and lift me up. No? Am I the only one? Right. So this is it. We're going to come together and we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a difference in each other's lives. Because you guys matter. You guys mean everything. All right? So here we go. This is it. Buckle up. Might want to grab a helmet. Because you never know. But that's it. I just want to share with you a little bit about who I am and where I'm going with this. What I think God's got some crazy good plans for this place. And here's something else. They think they're going to Oregon to, like, do this gym, or I don't know, whatever kind of plan they say they got. Oregon is waiting for them to set foot in Oregon. That's what's happening. I guarantee you, Todd's not going to just sit back. It's just not going to happen. I don't know if it's, against the religion to bet in church, but I would be willing to bet that they're not just going to go up there and just like do this gym or whatever. So we're going to be praying for you guys too, and just because they're up there doesn't mean we're not still united, because we are always a family no matter what. So that's it. That's really all I got for you today. I'm going to let you off easy today. For one, I don't know if my nerves can take much more. Because I've got a long way to go on getting used to this, because this is weird to me, but it's okay. We can all be weird together, So when we did the Keep Church Weird thing, that was like the best thing ever. Like if it's not weird, then we're doing something wrong, okay? So we're going to kind of keep that trend going, but we may do some things that look a little different, feel a little bit different, sound a little bit different or whatever. That's something else, the worship, man, I can't hear because I've played music like that my whole life. I don't know how to do it any different. So hopefully that's okay with you, because I like the music to be rocking sometimes. I like to hear Jeremy's guitar cutting through. I like to hear Wes banging on the drums and making noise, that's just where I come from. That's just what I like and what I enjoy. And I can feel myself sink into the Spirit that way. We can, that just doesn't work for me, So anyway, I'm going to, pray over us real quick, and then I hope to see you back next week. If you don't come back next week, I will come track you down. No, I'm just kidding. I won't come track you down, but, anyway. But it's going to be good. I just want you to be with me and understand where I'm coming from, because it's going to be good. Hopefully you're on board. And if you've got anything, don't be afraid to reach out to me, and we could talk. But anyway, I'll pray over us real quick, and then I'll dismiss. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You're invited to Christmas. We're going to have Christmas here. Sunday. Christmas falls on a Sunday this year. However. Anyway, so we're going to have Christmas. Wear your PJs. Now, yeah, don't forget, this is still a church. It may be weird, but we don't want to get that weird, okay? So, within moderation, wear your PJs and come hang out with us. And let's have Christmas as a family. We've got some cool stuff, I think, planned. We're going to have hot chocolate and stuff, of course, and cookies, and, we'll sing. And I don't have that. Oh, yeah, we're going to pass these invites around to you. And, thanks. See, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be saying. Anyway, let's spend Christmas together. We are meant to spend Christmas together. But anyway, that's great. So anyway, wear your PJs, eat some cookies, and drink some hot cocoa. So anyway, all right, as we're passing those around, I guess we'll go ahead and I'll pray over us real quick, and we'll dismiss and hang out or whatever it is we do. So.